So I wanted to make a quick video about Pinpoint Booking System. It's a plugin for WordPress where you can actually book events book events. That's what I've installed it for. And there's a couple of problems that we're facing with it. I'm using the Pro version, which costs like $70. And I think it's not worth $70 because it's really not worth it because there's a lot of things that is wrong with this plugin. First of all, I've created, as you can see, 3 slots here. And the problem is we cannot edit the slot once it's created. But the first thing you do is that you click on one slot to add it. You click 2 times to add it like this, and then you get this field form here, and you can add your price. Let's say 160, and then you can add any information. Let's say you had information for the user to see, and once it's done, you click on submit, and then he adds a slot here. But if you want to change it, let's say you want to edit the slot and you want to make a few changes, you can't do that, which is where you see all the information that you have entered are now all gone, and you cannot make any changes. You have to start over again and enter a new price, enter a new description, and also your availability again. So you have to do that every time. And another issue, and then you have to click submit, of course. And another issue that I find with this is that there's no general setting at all. Actually, for each calendar that you create, you have to go to edit calendar settings, and then you need to change a lot of things. For example, the date type, which is by default American. If you want to change it to Europe, you got to do that for each calendar that you are creating. And of course, you can add a name. Of course, there's other things that are very important, like when do you want to stop the booking system. Those are very important general settings, and they're called general settings, but they're not. They don't apply to all your calendar. It only applies to this one single calendar. So it's not really a general setting. It's settings for your calendar, for this single calendar. It doesn't apply to ID calendar number 13 that is here. And it's the same. There's a lot of things like currency. It's dollar by default. So every time you're making a new calendar, which you are probably gonna make a lot of calendars, if you're planning to make like 50 calendars, for example, then you have to change all those settings every time. Okay. And there's also many things that I think are quite complicated. For example, the hour settings. It says here you can use the hours, you can enable hours or disable. Let's say I want to disable the hours because I don't want them to select the hours, so I check disable hours. But then again, they ask you, do you want the hours info, and do you want to define the hours? Even though you said disable hours, you still have those options here, which is kind of confusing. Like, why do you ask me for setting up the hours again if I said disable hours? So it's kind of confusing, at least to me. Then you have the use start finish hours, and then you says you start finish hour or select only 1 hour. Okay, then again, I don't quite understand this. And when I go to documentation, the documentation, where is it again? Let's have a look at the documentation, okay? Real quick. Edit the billing address, edit the permission, hour settings, okay? And there's a lot of things here to talk about. But basically here, first of all, you say item 1, item 2. Instead of doing that, they could just simply say the name of the field. Like here item 1 is use hour. Why not just say use hour here instead of item 1, item 2? Because then I have to look at what is item 1, what is item 2. I have to look at that here which is kind of annoying. And then it says default value disabled. Of course, I know it's disabled. It's kind of like it's exactly written here, disable, enable. This is a useless information. Disable, enable, and then enable if you want to use hours in your calendar. Okay, that makes sense. Use hours, but it doesn't explain. It doesn't give more information, more details about what this is for. It just says use hour in your calendar. That makes sense. Use hour is the title, but that's all about it. Disable hours if you don't want to see hours details when you hover a day in your calendar. So I guess that in your calendar, you can hover in your calendar and then display the hours. But I don't really see why would I disable this? I mean, of course I want this to be enabled. So I don't know, why would I don't know, maybe of course I want this enabled. And then set the hours you want to use in your calendar. The hour format is yeah, so it says here the hour format is HHMM, 24 hours, blah blah. So it says basically how you use it, but it doesn't really explain what it is for. Like it is for, I don't know what it is for actually. Because for example, if I have an event that starts from 9 to let's say 6 p.m., 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., then if I had that kind of event, but I don't want people to like select the hours, I just want them to know that it starts at 9 and it ends at 6 p.m. and I want it to be displayed on my calendar when they over the slot of the calendar. I want the hours to be displayed. If that's what I want to do, I mean, it makes sense to me. I mean, I think I should have it here, but the problem is I don't know if this item number 3 does that exact thing that I'm describing. If it shows the hours but doesn't allow the user to select the hours, if that makes sense. Default value, enable your clients will click. Your clients will click once to select the start hour and a second time to select the end hour. They can select multiple hours. Disable if you want your clients to choose only the start hour. This will allow them to choose only 1 hour. Okay, check-in, check-out, I've enabled this because, I mean, this is check-in, check-out, right? Then again, it's pretty hard to know which item it is. But yeah, they can select multiple hours. So if you want your client to choose only the start hour, this will allow them to choose only 1 hour. It says check-in, check-out, I think. Oh no, it's start and finish hour. Okay. Okay, this is not enabled, but item 5, enabled to use AM, PM format. Okay, item 6, disable if you want the last hour to be selected. It doesn't really make sense to me. Why would I use, those items? Why would I use this, for example? Like, what would I use? Select last hour. Why would I use like the start hour and select the end hour? It needs to be explained, okay? Because we have all different use case for this specific, plugin. For me, it's a very simple use for the plugin. I just want people to select the date, and I want to show the hours. I want them to, because I have a course, it's for a course, and I want them to select the date where the course is happening and the hour. That's all I need. And here, that's what I want, okay? What time it starts and what day it starts. That's all I need. I don't want people to select the day or select an hour. That's all I need. So this is kind of like confusing to me. How should I like set this up? But then again, the main concern to me is, to sum up, it's just the settings and the general settings, especially that you have to do it every time. and the UI, and the fact that you can't sorry, you can't edit the slots, and I forgot something. Also the fact that for example here, let me see, day settings. Okay, the first day displayed is today by default. Okay, so if my event starts like on August, which is the case here, what will happen is that when you in, for example, because I implement this on WooCommerce, so it's in a WooCommerce product. Okay, it's gonna show in a WooCommerce product, and the first thing that happens when you click on a calendar, and it is going to open today. Okay, it's gonna show today and not August. Okay, it's gonna show this month and not August, and that's a problem. You have to set that here. That means that you have to set that here. My event start on the 9th of August here, so you get to select that. So you have to do that every time for each calendar. So it doesn't do that by default. You have to do it manually, and I think that's a huge problem, because yeah, I think that's a problem. You should be automatic. I don't understand why would people like want to see today. So yeah, I don't really understand, because if I set the dates, if I really set the dates, for example, if I set the dates for this month, so it should be this month. If I set the day, I mean in my calendar right here, if I set the day to August, it should be in August. That for me makes sense. So that's it. That's why I think Pinpoint Booking System is not really worth what they are charging us, which is $70. I think the UI needs a lot of improvement, and yeah, there's a lot of other things that I didn't talk about here, but there's a lot of things that are very messy, and that doesn't really work for me. And I hope this video would be useful, and if you have like any comments on this, if you think that I'm wrong, feel free to say it in the comment section. And of course, this is my opinion. If you've used Pinpoint Booking System and you think I'm wrong, feel free to say it in the comments. Thank you.